Hello and welcome. So, in this show, we had loads of stuff to talk about, loads of stuff to do. And as per all live streams, it all goes wrong at the last minute. So, I've just spent the last 2 hours or so with Victor trying to get Pong working. But we have decided that we're going to leave it probably to another live stream. Hold on a sec. It's saying that our Twitter account isn't working. So, it says a premium account on X is required. Yeah. Sorry about this, Exitus. Well, it didn't come up, so I'm not sure. Oh no, here we go. No, it looks like it's intermittent on Twitter at the minute. So I don't know if we want to point everyone to YouTube. It's working now, but it keeps going on and off. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, welcome. So yeah, we spent the last couple of hours talking to Victor and trying to get Pong started, but we're going to leave that. I'll give a brief overview, but we're going to leave the actual demo probably for a couple of weeks time. But before we get into that, how are you doing, Exodus? How's things?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited to see the progress of Bison Wallet, Cake Wallet, and Bison Relay with Pong. Uh, like you just said, the Pong isn't quite ready to test out. There's some few things that need to be ironed out, but we might have a video just showing it off from Victor here soon enough. I mean, it is just Pong. It's a ball going back and forth. The cool thing is it's done over Lightning Network, which is pretty unique and novel. But there's plenty of other things to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having a look at this, but for some reason, it's telling us that we're not currently on Twitter, which is a bit of a pain. So we've only got one person viewing it. Just give me 2 seconds. Let me see if we can. It's not working on the Decred account. There you go. I've put it onto my account, so we should start seeing people show up in a second. But for some
You know what it
reason,
is? The premium subscription ran out, so I have to renew that. I had it so it wouldn't
ah,
renew. So
oh,
we'll
got
have
it.
to go without Twitter for today, but I'll get that going later.
No, no, no. We are on Twitter now. I've just patched my account in, so we're actually viewing it on Decred Society's account. So if you get to
Okay.
while I talk about Pong, I don't know if you just want to tell everyone that's where it is. So what's happening with Pong? So absolutely great, absolutely kind of amazing what's happened there, and I've seen some nice demos between Victor and Alex, who's been playing the game. So how it's currently set up is they're using an RPC setup. So when the new build comes out, you'll go into Bison Relay, you'll click on the settings, go down to the RPC, and you'll literally say yes to the RPC. And then there's another app called Bison Relay Pong that you have to open up alongside it. So obviously this is a proof of concept at the minute, but at the moment it's basically two apps, and the Pong app, or the gaming app as it will be eventually, is actually talking to Bison Relay. So when you want to um, place a bet, you can place a bet through the users on Bison Relay, which is really cool. Now, one thing that Victor did say to me is that unlike Ethereum gaming, where every action is a transaction, with Bison Relay's gaming over the Lightning Network, all you need is one transaction to actually connect to the bot, so to connect to the Pong game, and then it's all done as an authenticated user. So you're not going to pay a transaction of one atom every time you hit the ball, which I thought was really good. And then you've got the option of actually going into a lobby, choosing the game that you want to play, and you can actually set up betting as well. So you've also got betting over the Lightning Network. So you send a certain amount to the the user. The user is basically a server, so it's a dumb server, if you like, and that holds the bet until the game's over, and then you get paid out. So I thought that was really good. So it's still a little bit centralized in that respect. It doesn't use like time locks or anything like that at the moment, or probably for a little while. But I thought the setup was quite interesting, and obviously those payments are instant, and they can be as low as one atom. So they are using the Lightning Network micro payments, which is absolutely amazing. Um, that's pretty much it. So I think the first thing, being that it's two apps, so being that you've got to have Bison Relay open, connect to the Bison Pong is going to throw a lot of people off initially. But obviously this is just a proof of concept. But looking at it, it's going to be really cool. And hopefully, like I say, in 2 weeks' time, we'll get Victor in the background, and me and Exitus will play a game, and we'll do some betting, and then we can talk about how the poker game is going as well.
So okay, so it's an external app. How large is the app?
Give me 2 seconds, and I will find out for you.
So it sounds like there's going to be, so you have your Bison relay, then you have this separate instance of Pong, and eventually it's going to have it has betting, but it's eventually going to have poker. So maybe the idea here is like some sort of gaming side app.
Yeah, that's basically how it's set up at the moment. My hope, and I did ask Victor, and he said there's no plans to integrate it into Bison Relay at the moment. But my hope is that eventually it will just be another window in Bison Relay, and it kind of makes sense that it would eventually be that way. But I think one of the problems is that not everyone's going to use it. So I think the way the devs are thinking about this at the moment is actual fact we don't want to add more weight to Bison Relay for something that not everyone's going to use, or it's just a proof of concept. So I quite like the direction they've taken whilst they build it and to see if it works, because obviously this is massively experimental at the minute. But if it works, I think it'd be crazy not to get it put in there. But obviously we're still some way out there. But to answer your question about how big it is, the install is 27 megabytes. So it's absolutely tiny.
And did you find the UI when you're doing bets, is it pretty streamlined? Is it easy?
Well,
is someone gonna mess up and bet their entire Decred stack on this?
Yeah, that's something that they might need to watch out for. But hold on, just give me 2 seconds, and I can show you the app. Like I say, I can't connect to it, but I can actually show you the app. I can show you what it looks like. So just give me 2 seconds. Let me remove that one. And I'll show you what it looks like. It's quite a streamlined thing, so it's not too difficult to see. So here we go. Here we go. So this is what the app looks like. And so you start off, you have to connect to the Pong bot, if you like. And once you've done that, then this area here will populate with waiting rooms. And then if you want to place a bet up in that left hand side, you can see that you can see the bet amount that you put on, and then you can join a room. So it's fairly streamlined. I mean, unfortunately, I can't click on any of this to kind of go into it, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, this is literally how it's set up as its own app. And then eventually, it looks like Victor's got a demo for us to play in a minute as well. So I'll play that as well. But yeah, so you basically got the settings, and eventually I'm presuming you'll be able to play your games from here and all sorts. And the settings was really easy to do. You just literally confirm it. I won't go into that because it's got some of my personal info on that, so I won't go into that. But that's basically
got personal info. It's got your home
address. Yeah, no, my IP and where the
right
the file is kept. So no, it hasn't asked me to confirm my home address and my bank.
There's KYC for Pong. Oh no. No. So
yeah.
So for that room, is that only for people you've key exchanged with, or is that just a room that anyone can kind of connect to? That waiting room for the games.
So the room will be anyone that's connected to the Pong bot. So that as soon as you've connected to the Pong bot, the room, you should see everyone there, which I thought was really cool.
That's good, because if you had to individually key X with people, you're probably going to have a hard time finding games. So that is really interesting.
Yeah. No. So literally, I mean, that's how the Bison Relay stuff comes in. And I mean, I thought it was quite good. Victor's deleted his message, so I can't. There's no video there, unfortunately. So we'll see if he sends it again, and hopefully he's got a demo for us to have a look at. But yeah, it looks streamlined. Like I say, until I get my hands on it, it's very, I'm just talking off the top of my hat on how well it works. But as you can see, the actual platform looks like it's going to load from one window. You choose a game, you place your bet, and you literally just play a game. Once the game's ended, the bet pays out, which in terms of previous crypto gaming experiences, it's never really been that way. And I think I've said this on shows in the past where I played a game called Crypto Wars, which is not available anymore. It was by a company called Experimental, and it was on the Ethereum network. And what they basically did is similar to what Pong's done, is they had endpoints, so that you basically said, oh, this is the how much the prize money is, and then at the end you had this how much the prize money you get from that, and the payout was to anywhere between 3 people and 10 people. The interesting thing about that one is it didn't have, it wasn't doing it on the blockchain, so you weren't literally paying for every single transaction. So it's actually quite a good game. But I actually won one of the tournaments back in 2020 or 2021, I think it was, and the payout was in US. No, it was in DAI. It was in US DAI or whatever it was called. And it literally took about 2 weeks for it to go into my Coinbase account. So they take your address off you at the beginning. But with this, of course, because it's going through Bison Relay, literally the payout is instant to your user. So yeah, I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. So some huge benefits there, really. Yeah, he's just typing now. So hopefully we've got the Pong. Hold on, let me see if do some filler for me, Exodus. I'm just going to check this video.
I was reading some of the changelog notes for the latest build, and they said the Pong ball increases in velocity as the game goes on, so you don't have like a stalemate situation. So I can imagine at some point this ball is going to be moving very fast with 2 competitive players.
Yeah, I saw that changelog actually. Yeah, that's cool. Right, I can't work out how to get this downloaded. Just bear with me, because he's done a demo, and all I've got to do now is work out how to get it on the screen. I think I might have done it.
Just launch the video and then press present, I guess.
Yeah, it's in Matrix. I think I've done it. 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. It's best laid plans when you haven't done the preparation. Everything takes just a little bit longer, but come on, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, it's in Matrix. I just need to see if I can drag it onto my desktop or something. Nope.
Yeah, there should be a download button from Matrix.
Forward share report. Oh, here we go. Got it. Yay, there we go. Right, let's get this. Let's get that on the screen. Right then, so if I just pause it, it's a 1-minute video, so hopefully there's no audio, but it should show us how this all works. So let's go again. And he's got it on command line, so it's not he's got Bison Relay on command line, not the actual GUI version. So like I say, we've still got to see it, but the only reason you're using Bison Relay, which is what's happening on the left side there, is just to kind of join the room and to join the chat. But here we go. So this is what it is.
So at least we can see what's happening under the hood a little bit on the command line there. For all the nerdy Decred holders out there, you can. Okay, he's got it on GUI there on the left.
Oh, good. Yeah. So
okay, so you pay a tip. I guess maybe that's the bet.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, this would be better if there's more players. So, but I've just got Victor to put together a demo for us, but he's literally playing against himself on both the GUI and the command line app. So this is Bison, 2 versions of Bison Relay playing right now. So Victor's playing.
Oh yeah, look at the command line app go. That is funny. He lost. Okay, so you do 3 rounds. It looks like, or 2 rounds. That is so funny.
Yeah, he's clearly playing on one computer, so he's having to switch between the apps. So that's causing problems. But
let's see. Okay.
So he's just received 0.02 from the Pong game. So literally, once
he doubled his money. Yeah, he doubled his bet. That's cool. And what's fascinating with that is in most betting systems, there's always a percentage cooked in for the house, right? Yeah. So with this, you're not paying any.
No.
I forget the official word for what it's called, but basically in every betting system, there's like a 5% that always goes to the house. That's the way they set the betting odds. And in this, as you can see, there's none of that. So let's say you win half the games, you lose half your games, you'll break even. But that is cool.
But I mean, if you look, in order to join the waiting room or to join the game, it asks you have to put down a 0.01 bet. So obviously, whoever's creating the game sets the parameters for the room. Which so you can't have a situation where one player puts down 0.01 but the other doesn't. They both have to put down the same bet in order to play the game. And that's what you saw there. That's why you saw the winner get 0.02. And it was a microtransaction, so the fees on that has literally cost him one atom. So 0.00000, 7 zeros and then a 1. So the smallest unit. And you saw it completed instantly. As soon as the game finished and he went over, it's literally already paid him the tip. I mean, I know it's small, but that's it. The way that works is absolutely huge, actually, and the potential is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
But
So
go on.
So the word I was looking for earlier is called vig or vigorish, which is the cut for the house. So that's non-existent here because it's all peer-to-peer. So I think the potential is huge for this betting. Maybe not necessarily Pong. We'll see how popular it is, but for poker, for other types of games, once they've laid out the foundation for this whole system, I can see this becoming maybe relatively popular. I mean, like you said earlier, you have to have Bison Relay, and then you have to download this separate app. Maybe that might prove too much for people, but if that separate app is only 20 megabytes, I think there's a lot of potential here, especially if they continue to work on the UX, the UI. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think eventually it'd be crazy to have two UIs because this is a massive use case in itself. You think, I mean, I know it's Pong, but we've witnessed, and hopefully in 2 weeks' time, you and I will be able to play. But we've just witnessed a two-player game, over the internet in real time, where all the betting system works, and you apply that to lots of two-player games like chess, drafts, all the various other two-player games that you could do. And I mean, the potential is absolutely huge for tournaments and things like that. And we talk about use cases, but it's absolutely massive. And then when we get to doing poker, poker is your multiplayer game, which is, well, I mean, I think that's still a little way off, but yeah, absolutely huge. But I hope that they do build this gaming plugin, which is what I think they've called it, a plugin. Or a third-party app. I hope they build it into Bison Relay. I think there's a missed opportunity there if it doesn't eventually get into Bison Relay.
Yeah, maybe they can have it so on the Bison Relay settings, you can choose to enable or disable it. So if you never want to see it, you can just have it disabled. Unless it's more complex than that. I'm just speculating on how that could operate.
Yeah, I don't think so. From what I saw, it's literally you just toggle a button for the RPC, and that's the plugin. That you could even call that something more glamorous like gaming platform. But the minute you've done that, the gaming platform will work, and presumably that'll be multiple games. So, but yes, I mean, there's nothing particularly big about this. It's just one window. You just saw there where he's literally as soon as he entered the lobby and then went into the game, it's just one window. So there's no reason that couldn't be a window in Bison Relay.
It would be nice if the on the right side the Pong game had like Decred colors or Bison Relay colors, where the ball is like orange or something, or like the ball was a little bison or something.
Well, yeah, customized game types. Yeah, why not?
Just make it a little more thematic.
Yeah. But I mean, the good thing is because you're not paying atoms to run the graphics, there's no reason, because all you pay the atom for is to actually, obviously, it'll be to download the game. But at the minute, you don't pay an atom because you download the actual app and that has the game. And because you're not paying atoms for the graphics, there's no reason that couldn't be a lot more complex. I mean, it's obviously it's just a testing ground, but I love it. I think I see the potential. I think it's huge. I can imagine us doing live streams where we literally, rather than you and I just sat here talking to each other, we literally run a tournament. I think that'd be awesome. And I was hoping to do that today.
That's a great idea. Actually, run a Pong tournament.
Well,
or
why not?
Maybe eventually a poker tournament.
Yeah, we've got these extra funds, that we can put towards these. Why not? Why not kind of put that forward, and we just, have a weekly tournament. I think it'd be amazing, absolutely amazing. And there you go. You've got your use case. You've got a massive use case, and to all those critics that think Lightning isn't going to work, well, there you go. This is the perfect scenario for microtransactions. You're getting rid of all the middlemen, and you're playing a game of poker with your mates without paying a dime for the experience. Absolutely amazing.
I wonder if we could curate a list of games that would be suitable for this type of platform, where they're not overly complex, but you can bet. I mean, the Pong is really interesting, though, how it's a flash kind of animation game right on your screen, and you're interacting with it in real time.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like Space Invaders. You could do Frogger. Where you just literally put up a bounty. And
what about like chess or checkers?
Chess,
obviously, chess is huge.
I
mean, it's not graphically too intense. But yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
I'm not a poker player by any means. I don't know. I don't understand how to do it. But if there was a chess game, I'd be all over that. I'd quite happily spend a few hours burning up some chess. Or we could play.
I guess you could cheat. You could cheat with chess nowadays. Like, you can just get a supercomputer to tell you all the moves, and you can go and scam people. I guess that's why people don't bet on chess.
Yeah, true enough. But yeah,
very true.
You could do Space Invaders. You could set up a lobby, and then the person that gets the furthest, wins the pot. Something like that. Another one that I quite liked back in the 80s was Frogger, where you literally see how many times you can cross the road without dying. And then if there's 5 or 6 of you playing, it's the one that gets the most across the road the most amount of times that wins the bounty. But yeah, I mean, the opportunities are huge. And honestly, it does make a lot of sense to have interactive content, interactive things that can bring community members together to play this. Even if you're not interested in Decred, this kind of supersedes that, because you can actually just get involved in what the platform's delivering. I love that. Right, yeah. I think we're done with our Pong, but loving it. And hopefully, like I say, in a couple of weeks, we will, or maybe on the next show, depending on how quickly this stuff goes, we will try and get a tournament together on Pong, and myself or Exitus will put up some bounties to see who wins the Pong tournament. We'll do a whole bunch of waiting rooms, and we'll try and get that going. Like I say, we're not far. The reason I struggle today is because they actually haven't done a build from master with the Pong RPC stuff in it yet. So and it is there. It's already been merged. So once the next build comes out of Bison Relay, we're pretty much going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
So
you want to we can pull up the DCR Dex volume chart. That's always fun to take a look at.
I haven't checked it. I'll get it now, but I haven't checked it deliberately because it looks like it was going to break last month's record, but it's hold on, let me bring it up. Hold on, 2 secs. It's still almost, what we got, another 7 or 8 days left of the month, and we're at 922,000 on the volume. And I mean, that's all pretty much all DCR to Bitcoin, but that was crazy. And last month was absolutely amazing. Like, I think it was 1,100,000 last month, which was absolutely crazy. What are you making of? Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I've been checking the volume on Bison Wallet. It's kind of sporadic. You'll have like 50,000 one day, 10,000 the next. It's jumping around a lot. But I love watching on Binance those buy orders come in. Every time there's a buy on the DEX, there is a subsequent bid on Binance for 40D cred from the arbitrage bots. So that's really cool to see. But it's kind of interesting because it seems like the buying doesn't affect the price at all. It's always correlated to how Bitcoin moves. If Bitcoin moves up, the price goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, it goes down. And yeah, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it does seem like the market is a little bit controlled at times. It's hard to speak about, but
Yeah.
You see $50,000 in buys in a single day, and the price does not move at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, like I say, I've got my own theories on that, and I think we've still got a little way before we get to a point where the buyers are more than the sellers, which is a bit of a shame, but it's happening. We've probably still got the best part of a year, or maybe even half a year, before we kind of start seeing that turnaround. But even this week, the 0.00014 has actually started to creep up a little bit. For at least a month, some that was being held below that point. So it's nice to see us creeping up on the Bitcoin price. But yeah, we've still got a little way to go. It's all going in the right direction. Things are starting to get built now that's making Decred a lot more useful. That's making Decred kind of shine a light on what's coming. I mean, you've only got to look at what's happening with Bison Relay just then, and the potential of Bison Relay and our Lightning Network. And we have to remember that the other Lightning networks that exist, they're not building stuff like this. They're not even, they're not even nowhere near as close to the kind of decentralization that we've got and the kind of non-custodial nature that we've got. And that really is down to our SPV and the fact that our modern SPV has 100% support on our network. So every single node supports SPV, whereas that's not the same. Last time I looked on Bitcoin, it was way down into the 20% that supported their Neutrino modern SPV, and Litecoin was something like 4%. So I mean, that's still a lot of nodes on those networks. But when you think about Decred, once we get the node count up, it will always be 100%. So once we are into 200, 300, 400 nodes that are maintaining the network, it will always be 100%. So and that's absolutely massive, and that's what makes our Lightning Network so lightweight. That's what makes it so secure, and that's what makes it kind of run as well as it does. So yeah, lots to look forward to there. Also, I mean, that's going to push us forward is coming back to mobile. And I know for the last 2 years, since mine and Tivra's interview with Vic from Cake Wallet, we've been talking about Cake Wallet, we've been talking about crypto power and any other mobile opportunities. But that's starting to happen now. And I know that, and I give credit where credit's due, it was Exitus and I believe Tivra that actually put that conversation together with Vic at Cake Wallet and kind of made that happen and made them or kind of got the interest there. So it's nice to see that happening. Do you have any words, since that's your baby? Do you have any words about that?
About Cake Wallet?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a long time coming, and we've been waiting for this for some time. But it's finally here. They ironed out a bunch of different bugs they encountered. They are making their final optimizations, though I think they were a little surprised to find out that a Decred SPV wallet is 1 gigabyte in size, which is what it's always been. And I think most SPV wallets are about that size. Litecoin is 1 or 2 gigabytes as well, but that's kind of the trade-off you get with SPV. You get, it's more decentralized and private. And I really like how they say that right in the when you're going to sync a Decred wallet. It's not using an endpoint. It's using it's much more decentralized and private. But yeah, I think it looks good. People are going to be happy to have it there, and I'm not exactly sure if the exchange portion will work with it because they use something called Alchemy Pay, where you can go and use a debit card or Google Pay or Apple Pay and buy coins. They do have like an 8% fee on that, so it's not really the best rate. But I think it is a popular method for people who just want to come in and buy coins and not have to sign up to a centralized exchange. So we're gonna have to work on getting on Alchemy Pay, which I think will be easier once we are on Cake Wallet.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one thing I've just brought up on the screen here, the integration, and this is the test app. So if you want to test Decred on Cake Wallet, there is a test flight app that you need for iOS and maybe Android. I'm not sure, but I mean, I have had my criticisms because it's obviously been 2 years, and I'll hold my hands up. But when I saw Vic post, and I'll bring that post up as well. When I saw Vic post the other day, that he was testing Decred on Cake Pay. It really was nice to see, and it kind of reaffirmed a little bit of belief there. It's like, okay, this is actually happening, and it's nice, that they are following through. And remember that Cake Wallet, sorry, not Cake Pay, Cake Wallet have never taken any money for this integration. Joe built it and he put a proposal together, but that had nothing to do with Cake. So the fact that it's taken 2 years had nothing to do with them taking money and running away, as I know was speculated a few months back. But no, they've actually followed through. And the one thing I like is how seamless the integration looks with Cake. It doesn't look out of place. And like you were saying, a lot of the other wallets, including Monero, they all use these server endpoints. So every wallet connects to a server before it goes out to the network. And I did wonder how that was going to affect Decred, because obviously Decred will be it will take a lot longer to sync and download. From what Tool Americano said, it took between 5 minutes and 10 minutes, which is actually, for an SPV wallet, is crazy impressive. But obviously when you install all the other wallets on Cake, it literally is instant. So that will probably throw a few people out, and it does have to remain open whilst you're syncing, which is also a little bit of a bugbear for people that aren't used to that. But if you're going to use blockchain technology, this is the way you should be doing it. If you can't run a full node, which is not practical, it's not practical to run a full node on a mobile. It would be absolutely awful. So the next best thing is a modern SPV, and I'm not talking about your old SPVs. This idea of a modern SPV that doesn't leak privacy, that's crazy lightweight. And the thing with Decred's SPV in terms of weight is, I estimated a few months or a few years ago actually, that it was below 500 megabytes. And when you put the birthday in with the seed, apparently it gets a lot lower than that as well. So it could be up to 200 megabytes. But they're saying it's roughly a gig, which is probably the right amount of space. As your wallet grows, it probably will get that big. But sorry, what was I saying? Yes, SPV connecting to the network, not using any centralized servers. So Cake Wallet itself is not hosting a server for Decred, which is interesting to note. So there's no middlemen sitting in that. So when you set up your DCR wallet, you are literally connecting via SPV to the network. You are verifying all of your transactions yourself. You're not passing through. You're not joining a queue on a server to then join the network. You're physically doing it off your own back through your wallet, which is incredible actually. And Decred's SPV is light years ahead of pretty much everything I've seen in the space so far. But yeah, really happy to see that going. And one thing maybe we should do also to get people to download is maybe see if we can send some DCR to these guys to see if they can run some competitions or some giveaways. I know I've seen Vic do it in the past with other coins, so that might not be a bad option either.
Yeah, I just checked Android, and it is now available on the Android beta. So yesterday I signed up as a beta tester for Cake, and today it's available. Let me see if I can.
Yeah,
if I could get it on my web. My phone is a little broken, but I got it on my phone. So it's synchronizing.
Sorry, Exis.
Let me take a screenshot and send it to myself.
You can share your screen as well if you want to make yourself really big. You can just share your screen. I'll post you up on the screen.
Let's see. But yeah, it's now available on. So you got Decred there. It's synchronizing, so we'll see how long this takes. But yeah, this looks good.
Have you just started the sync?
Yeah, I literally, as you were speaking, I went to check if it was available on Android, and it was. So I clicked update.
So let's make a note of that. That was 4:46 probably then. So
I
4:46. Let's see
started
when it finishes.
I started at 11:44. I wrote it down.
44. Okay, cool.
I had to quickly copy and paste my seed words though, so I'll probably have to make a new wallet at some point for security purposes. But
yeah,
it's going along. It would be nice if it showed a percentage rather than just saying how many blocks are remaining. And
there's a bar though, isn't there? So there is a
bar.
If I pull up VIX, you can see it on VIX here.
It looks to be about 25 to 30% done already. But we can revisit this in a little bit. I did already find a little kind of mishap here, like just with some colorization. So I'm going to go ahead and report that. So this is.
But it hasn't got the privacy yet, has it?
No, it's just the send and receive. They wanted to start small and make sure everything works, and hopefully from there they continue to add things, especially with the privacy. You need to make multiple accounts. You need your unmixed and your mixed, and I think it's probably better just to have it like this for now, and they can look it out.
The biggest thing for Decred in my eyes, I mean, this is selfish, obviously. Cake wants privacy stuff as well, so my expectation is that will be the next feature that gets added. But from a selfish point of view, to have Decred on what I would probably class as the most popular mobile app in the crypto space is massive for us, really. And it has been one of those things that we've been missing. And the Decred experience on mobile for the last since the Go DCR app failed, which was about 4 years. I'm thinking it might have even been over 4 years ago now. We haven't really had a decent mobile app. We've had Exodus, and we had Trust, but both of them they were okay. I mean, I don't think Trust works anymore, and I'm not sure about Exodus whether that does or not. But it's really nice to see that what I would class as the most popular mobile wallet in the space is actually integrating Decred, but they're also doing it with our technology as well, with the SPV technology, rather than just chucking in a server in the background. I just think this is huge for us. So hopefully we'll start to see, once you said we get integrated with their exchange as well, hopefully we'll start to see people kind of trying out Decred, and hopefully this brings Decred back to you guys in America. Do you think it will do that?
So sorry, could you? I was posting a tweet. Could you repeat that question really quick? I heard most of what you said.
You look like you was intensely listening to me. I was like, oh, I've really got Exitus' attention here.
I was trying to get the screenshot. I'm posting a screenshot of the app, and Twitter somehow botches the screenshot. What was your question about America?
I was basically saying, do you think this will have any effect on bringing Decred back to the American audience? So obviously, after we lost a lot of the exchanges or didn't get them in the first place, it's been very difficult for the American audience to obtain Decred. Do you think this will help?
Well, it certainly isn't going to hurt. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good. Vic and the Cake team, from what I've seen, are mostly in America. I do think that is the path forward of trying to get in front of the American audience, and it's one of the biggest markets in the world. And I think this is a great step, right? Because Cake Wallet is popular. It's basically the premier Monero mobile wallet. And maybe there's people working at Coinbase or Kraken or whatever, and they see, oh, Cake Wallet added Decred. Why doesn't our exchange have Decred? Decred must be pretty good for Cake Wallet to consider adding it. So I think it is absolutely a step in the right direction. It could get our foot in the door. I wonder if they will add Base to Cake Wallet, because that's kind of that's all the rage at Coinbase now. But yeah, it's a good step in the right direction. All right,
I would
I'm
imagine
probably about 60% done syncing. So yeah, this is moving quite fast. It's certainly faster than the Monero sync.
that's about 8 minutes then. It's taken
Yeah.
so far. That's cool. Um, oh, I was going to say something. I completely forgot. But yeah, Base is. I mean, to me, it's fairly obvious that Base will be the predominant chain for stablecoins. I think it's hedged that way. So yeah, I think Base will be a good one. But in terms of getting audiences back to Decred, American audiences, and all the rest of us, I think it can't help. And I think certainly having a mobile wallet that has a big user base and having Decode on that mobile wallet is going to be huge for us. And I think, like I said before, that is something we were definitely missing. So I am happy to see that we're coming back to mobile. Like I say, and hopefully we can push some giveaways and we can push some competitions over there on Cake to get people to install the wallet and to try it out.
Yeah, and like you were saying with, Go DCR became crypto power. One of the challenges there, from what I understand from as an outsider looking in, is they were using Geo, which was like an experimental new programming language, and I think that was kind of one of the reasons it was having some issues. From what I understand, it's difficult to build software like this on this new kind of software app.
Yeah, Geo
Yeah.
was causing them a lot of problems. And from what Dracot was saying to me, is they had a few bugs that they needed fixing, but the guys over at Geo wanted $200 per hour to look at them. And you think, well, that's not sustainable. To be fair, that's not good practice for an open source code base. And if I'm honest, I think it really, I mean, it looks to me in terms of the multi kind of screen coding base, it certainly looks to me like Flutter has now won that, certainly for the foreseeable future. So it kind
Yeah,
of it doesn't make sense to me that we would use anything but Flutter now. And I know that that's what Bison Relay has been built on, and that's also what Cake Wallet has been built on.
and for the record, I am syncing it on my phone, and there is zero slowdown. The app is running perfectly, clicking the different buttons. It's like I'm not even syncing it. And I remember on Crypto Power, when you were syncing it, the app would kind of come to a halt, and you'd really have to leave it alone. So I'm definitely seeing a big performance difference, and I'm using the same phone. The phone I have is a Pixel 8, I believe. It's like a year and a half old, so it's not even necessarily a new phone, but this is running really flawlessly. So I have to give it to them for making this work so well, even while the wallet's syncing. Like I'm pretty amazed. And I am about 80% done. So
80% in 11 minutes. So
yeah.
I mean, the other thing I want to say kudos to the Cake Wallet team is their reviewers were pretty thorough. Actually, I read through the reviews that they gave, and actual facts, they really asked the questions. They really kind of nitpicked with all the various things, and they got the extra work done. Which a lot of these companies, there's like, well, it's your product, so we don't care. We'll just do it. But with Cake, they really care, because obviously that's them. Cake is them, and if they're going to put something on their platform, they want it to be just right. So I really respected the fact that they were quite hardcore with the review process as well. And the code was fairly decent from what I could see, but they literally went into a few things. Right, this is causing a block. This is causing a slowdown or whatever. And to go through that process and to see it happen was great. It was great to see that their team is so committed to making a great mobile app.
Yeah, so I'm playing around with it. There is, you can swap right in the app. I believe it uses Trocador, but you can do swaps right in the app to XMR or some of the other currencies supported here on Cake Wallet. So yeah, they've built a really fantastic infrastructure, and I think, I'm so proud we were able to get Decred on this. We needed it so bad. We needed just a a beautiful mobile app that anyone can come in and use. So
Yeah.
this is really good. I'm looking forward to sending some Decred over and showing people what that looks like.
Well, I think, like I said before, that's kudos to Exodus. It's kudos to Tivra for actually putting that conversation together and making it happen.
And
And
Joe, Joe did the heavy
oh,
lifting.
oh my goodness, yeah, Joe. Don't forget Joe, who actually did all the work for it. But between you three, you've made that happen, and the process is long, as we've seen. That's over 2 years ago, so the process is long. But it's going to be hugely beneficial. One of the biggest criticisms we had in once the last bull market was over and we kind of went into our downturn, one of the biggest criticisms we had is like, well, what you don't how can you expect people to find Decred when you're not even on mobile? And that was a huge criticism that we had to take on the chin. And it's very difficult to market a project like Decred, which is amazing. I'm not criticizing the project, but it's very difficult when the bulk of your audience is on mobile and you can't reach them. Whereas with the Cake Wallet, we're going to be able to reach them, and we're going to be able to reach them where they are, which is absolutely great. And like I say, the user base for Cake Wallet is fairly substantial, as I understand it. And it makes a lot of sense to me now. And like I say, I'll take back all my criticisms, because I had a few, but they've come through and they've done great, actually. So credit where credit's due. So the next thing on my list is the Hummingbot proposal. Yet another thing that X has put together. It passed. They've now got a year's worth of funding, which starts from April, I believe. How are you feeling about that one? Let me see if I can bring I'll come out of this and I'll bring the proposal up on the screen.
Yeah, so Hummingbot, we have renewed their services for another year of running a liquidity marketing campaign for our currently our biggest pair, which is on Binance, DCR USDT. And one of the reasons we chose a year was because they offered a 40% discount on their platform fees for running a year, and we figured might as well just go down that path instead of having to submit a proposal every single 3 months. And they have submitted their invoice, and they are a part of this treasury spend, which is now taking place and should be available in, I think, like 5 days. So they will be able to start their next campaign immediately after this current one ends. And yeah, with this next campaign, we've actually increased the rewards. And because they're being paid out at a smaller exchange rate, we are actually going to see $900 in rewards every single week, as opposed to what it is now, which is like $500. So the reward pool is actually doubling for people who come along and do this liquidity service. So we're hoping, that correlates to even more liquidity and more volume being provided. But basically, this is really one of the only market making services that can work with the Decred DAO, where they only need Decred to make the service. Whereas with other market makers, you have to provide capital on both sides. You need to send them USDT and you need to send them Decred. And obviously, in our case, it's difficult to send USDT. And it's a pretty cost effective for under $60,000. To have a dedicated market maker for the year is quite frugal.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this chart here, they seem like they were about $10,000 per day during that initial period. In some instances, there it went up to 80,000 per day, which was on the 3rd of February. And obviously that was just a short run. It's quite nice to see that it's been a proving ground that the stakeholders were happy to support again. And honestly, I think it's going to do wonders. And I think more people will start to come to Decred and they'll start to provide these market makers, because it's got backing behind people now. So it's all these little partnerships that are being formed here. The Cake Wallet, the Hummingbot, all these little partnerships that are being formed here are really, really beneficial, and it's great to see, actually. And whether we like it or not, this idea of being liquid, Decred having the liquidity to kind of push the price up or just maintain the price is massively important. And I feel like we've weathered the storm, and now we're just seeing these nice gradual increments that are suggesting positivity, which fantastic stuff. How much was that proposal? So the proposal is 57,000 for the year, and I believe that's going to be in 4 increments. So the money that they've just
sorry,
taken
my wallet finished syncing, so that was 18 minutes.
18
pretty good.
minutes. That's
18 minutes. And this is with me streaming, and I'm on Wi-Fi, and
it's almost 1 million blocks as well. So that's really impressive.
So from literally start to finish, about 18 minutes. So definitely, I think it's faster than Monero. I'm not sure. Monero doesn't use SPV. It doesn't have SPV. I'm not exactly sure what system they use on Cake, but that was quite fast.
Do you have to sync Monero on Cake as well then?
Yeah, there is a synchronization process. Maybe we can look this up. I forget what it is, but it is not instant. And when you load up the wallet, if you haven't used it in a few months, it does take a few minutes to sync it. But it is not. Monero does not have SPV. Let's see, Cake Wallet, Monero sync.
Because they use, as I understand it, and I could be wrong. If I am, someone let me know. But as I understand it, they do use a connection to centralized servers for their mobile wallet. So that's why I was surprised that there's a sync process. They've also got pruning, which doesn't seem very efficient. I mean, when they got pruning for the first time, the actual pruned full node was something like 40 gigabyte. That was about 3 years ago, and now it's up to something like 80 gigabytes. So on Decred, for instance, if we had a pruned node, yes, we'd still need archive nodes, but you'd expect that to be less than 1% of the chain. So Decred's chain is currently 14 gigabytes. So you'd expect it to be well below 1 gigabyte. So there's some interesting things there. But I know there was this big discussion on their pruning tech, but no, I wasn't aware that they had to sync on their mobiles. So what did you find?
I didn't find anything. There is a sync. It looks at a full node and syncs from that.
So if it syncs, I wonder how. Oh, here we go. Jason's got one. My XML wallet and Cake syncs every time I open it. So Jason,
right.
How long if you remember, how long did it take you to sync it the first time you used it? But I also wonder if it has to sync, I wonder how big that wallet's going to be then, because I would imagine they got well over 1 million. They've got well over 1 million blocks. So I'd imagine you're still talking probably 500 megabytes, if not more.
From what I understand, it doesn't store the data locally, so it doesn't. When the Monero wallet on Cake is very small, but it does need to shift through all the data to see the transactions. Let's see. But anyways, I'm going to send some Decred over to this wallet.
Yeah, see
an empty wallet's no fun.
Sending and receiving on Cake live in space at less than 18 minutes to sync. But yeah, that's absolutely amazing. While Exitus does that, so just to finish up with the Hummingbot, so they're doing it in 4 increments. So 3-month increments for each milestone, 12 weeks. Each one is 20. Oh no, the first one was 25 grand, which includes their fee for the whole year, and then 10 grand quarterly after that. So I didn't think that was too bad actually, and I think we talked about on this last show. Last time we had a market maker, it was a lot more expensive to run a market maker, and as I remember it, they only did about 3 months, but it was a lot of money. But I couldn't find the proposal, but I do remember chat saying it was quite a bit. But 50 grand or $57,000 for the year, I think that's reasonable, especially if they are generating over $10,000 of liquidity per day, and presumably the longer this runs, the more likelihood you'll see that this will be a lot higher than 10,000. You can see even from this chart that the month that they're showcasing here, the average is actually about 30,000. So it says here. I could have just read that. Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
So Jason's got back to us.
So I just sent some Decred over, and it similar to Bison Wallet. The second you send, it immediately the wallet knows it's coming, so it tells you it's coming, and it says unconfirmed balance. So it's basically letting you know it's just waiting to confirm. But that's one feature I really like. So it actually already confirmed within about 20 seconds, which is pretty wild. Did we just have a new block?
Yeah, but that's the thing with Decred is even if it's in pending mode. So the minute it propagates in the mempool, there's actually a really high percentage that it will actually complete. So they talk about this zero conf payments, and on Bitcoin they have real troubles with this because there is ways on Bitcoin that you can reverse it. But in Decred's term, the actual chances, and I'd have to ask Dave C for this if he's in the audience and wants to chip in, but the actual chance of a transaction getting reversed on Decred's blockchain is actually incredibly low, just purely because the minute it propagates through the network, literally the chances of somebody else getting in front of that is really low. But yeah, I mean, Dave C can do that. But I was having this thought the other day about zero confirmation transactions and whether we could use them. Most people don't like to. I mean, you don't have 100% guarantee on Decred until you've got +1. So the first block that a transaction goes into, it then gets validated. So it actually takes 2 blocks before you get 100% assurance. But even before that, it's still relatively high. But yeah, be interesting. I'd probably have to do some more research. I need to ask Dave about that, really. And Jason says, sorry, I can't remember. It was a while ago. I can't say how long XMR took to sync first time. That was a long time ago. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. We're just discussing here, but it's nice to see that Decred can do it in, what did we say, 17 minutes?
Yeah, 17, 18 minutes. So pretty good. I mean, it looks really good, and it's going to do what it needs to do, which is send and receive. And I have to say, it runs really well. It runs at 120 frames per second. There's no slowdown. You can go and generate new addresses. Let's see. So yeah, you can generate as many Decred addresses as you want. Let's see. And yeah, I now have 1 Decred in my wallet.
Very cool.
Sweet. See if I can.
So we can come back to Cake if there's anything more you want to discuss, but that's pretty much awesome. There was only one thing that I've got left on my list, unless there's anything else you want to talk about. There's only one thing I've got left on my list, and that is that it's been a month now, but Bison Relay actually got an update. About a month ago, and I mean, the interface is looking really, really slick. Now, this, unfortunately, it's still not currently working for me, but it doesn't overly matter. So, Jose, if you're in the chat, sorry, I'm going to use your chat with me on this one. But if you are a DGB supporter, follow Jose. He's a great guy, and hopefully we can have him and Jason on again soon to talk stuff that's going on in the crypto world with those guys. But what they did a month ago is they actually added. Exitus has got his coming. Okay, I'll put yours on in a second, Exitus. They actually added audio. So what you can do is you can hold down the audio button, and you see this in the bottom right-hand side. Hold down the audio button, and you can record, and you can see it's recording. And then when you let go, it actually says, hey, would you like to send this? It tells you how big it is and how much it's going to cost. So look, I'm sending an audio file of, and this is quite a small one, but 5-second audio file. It's 19 kilobytes, and look at how much it's estimating. Estimated cost to send this 19 kilobytes is 1 atom. The power of the power of Bison Relay is microtransactions. So now on Bison Relay, we can actually send and I'll send it now. But we can actually send audio, at a single atom. How cool is that? And you can press play, and it won't work for some reason. My I didn't catch that audio message, but for some reason my audio isn't picking up. But I thought that was so cool, and you've got the audio settings here, so you can actually do it. And you can actually test the audio, and you can record it and so on. But like I say, at the moment it's just not picking up. But how cool is that? What's your experience of the audio on Bison Relay so far?
Yeah, so it works just like it would on your phone or a desktop app. You click the microphone button, you speak, and then you can send your message, and you can play the message before you send it to make sure it sounds correct. And it tells you exactly, how big it's going to be and how much it's going to cost to send, and it's very small amount to send. But this is basically paving the way for voice calls and things of that nature, which obviously is quite important on a communications app. And I believe Jake said he had an hour-long phone call with no dropping, which is pretty nice. So you can have phone calls over the Lightning Network. That's insane. So, but yeah, I've got a screenshot here of Cake Wallet. I sent one Decred over.
All right, hold on 2 seconds. Let me take mine down. Let me put yours up.
But yeah, there we go. I've got the nice kind of Decred themed background here, and yeah, works. It all works very well. I'm very impressed by this.
Yeah, one thing I like about it is it's in keeping. It's in keeping with the rest of the wallet, which is one of the things that I did worry about, because obviously we talked about this before about it using the SPV. I did worry that it wouldn't look and feel the same as all the others, and that might hinder Decred. But now you've told me about Monero taking time to sync, and honestly, it doesn't look any different to me, and that's exactly what you want. You don't, when it comes to mobile wallets, you don't want to stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, it's funny because you have so much space here, for other things, and it's like I could absolutely see them maybe adding some mixing service or a link to the DEX or something. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I can see a few proposals coming up, especially when now it's on there. I can see a proposal for the mixing to go on there, and I think it's onwards and upwards, isn't it? Really, and show those guys our support since they've been so kind to list us, which is absolutely amazing. Now we are at the 1 hour point. I have completed all of my talking points. If anyone in the audience, and we have over 200 people watching, so that's going to give my account a boost. So remember to follow my account. I'm almost up to 1,000 users again after pruning out almost 500 last time. But if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts about what we discussed on the show, feel free to send us a message now, and we'll put it on the show. Exitus, anything we haven't discussed? Any thoughts?
No, that was everything. I think that was pretty exciting, showing off some of the Pong, showing off Cake Wallet, showing the volume on DC or DEX. I think that was pretty fun. I was not expecting Cake Wallet to be on my phone just now, but it's here. Yeah. So hopefully next time we can play some Pong, and hopefully I can win some Decred.
Yes. Well, let's make that
or lose my Decred.
Yeah, I don't mind losing some Decred to a tournament, and let's see if we can get some more people on, and let's see if we can set up a tournament. That'll be proof in the pudding, and we'll try and give away a whole bunch of Decred, which would be really cool. But no, generally I've been really positive about Decred this month, and I'm always positive about Decred, but it feels positive as well. And I mean, some of the things that are happening is just kind of reinforced that, and I feel like we're now getting into crypto's mainstream, if you like, and people are starting to want us around, which is really nice. Partnering with some of these guys, and can't say bigger words for Cake Wallet, and I can't sing the praises for Hummingbot any more than I possibly can. I just think these guys are great, and they're going to be massively beneficial. Obviously, we still need to look at how we can build our volume for Bison Wallet. It'd be great to see some of those stable coin pairs start to take off a little bit more. Getting $1 million in volume every month is still pretty bloody awesome, considering we're just over, I think, 7 months since the launch of Bison Wallet, which is absolutely great. Long may that continue. But let's see if we can work out some other plans and see if we can get some more stablecoin volume going. What else? Oh, I was going to ask you, how is the Umbrel installer going for Bison Wallet? Is it ready yet?
That's a good question. I think it's ready. I'm not sure if they put it on the App Store, just because I don't think anyone but myself has used it. So that's a really good question. I'll have to ask Peter Zen what the status of that is. Because I know the goal is to get that on the App Store, right? So kind of outside people can have access to it. But that is a good question. I know they were looking for more people to test it, but I don't think more people came. But I will ask and I will get back to you on that.
Cool. Yeah, I've been playing with the idea about getting an Umbrel unit, but obviously I didn't want to just have an Umbrel unit there doing nothing. And the minute I do that, obviously, then hopefully we can start adding some more. I can get my permanent market maker up. So it's a bit pathetic that I haven't got it sorted yet, but that is my mission. That is what I'm hoping to do, and bring those spreads down a little bit. Anything else? There's no comments in the chat, but 207 people are watching today, which is absolutely great. If there's anything in future weeks that you'd like to discuss, guys in the audience, please let us know. And if you'd like to join our Pong competition tournament, also let us know. We're going to make that happen. Like I say, we almost had it working today, but it was a bit too much of a rush in the end. So hopefully by next show we'll have that working. But that's pretty much it for me. How about you? So if you sign us off then, Exitus.
Hey, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, this discussion of things going on in Decred, and once again proving that in Decred we're always pushing things forward. We're quite different from these stagnant meme coins, which will do nothing ever. And hopefully this year we see some exchange listings and an increase in Decred, increase in interest in Decred, and we move forward, and things begin to take off. I think we're ready to take off. It feels like it.
It feels like with all of our eggs, no, not eggs are in the right basket, but all of our ducks are in a row. That's the saying. So it feels like we're slowly but surely getting there, and everything is where it should be again. After many years of kind of missing components, I feel like, well, the only missing component was the mobile, really. Maybe the exchanges not listing us, but I feel like we're there, there and thereabouts. Exitus, it's always a pleasure. Depending on how this Pong release goes, maybe we'll do the next one at the beginning of the month, but if not, we'll do the next one at the end of the month. But thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time.